It's not good for you to be here. It's ugly. This whole thing is so ugly. Have you any idea what it's like to live with this? People look at us and all they see are bigots and racists. Hatred isn't something you're born with. It gets taught. At school, they told us segregation is what's said in the Bible. Genesis 9, verse 27. 7 years of age, you get told it enough times, you believe it. You believe the hatred. You live it. You breathe it. You marry it. My husband drove one of the cars that night. That's what you want to hear, isn't it? The bodies are buried on the Roberts farm in an earthen dam.
What do you think you're doing? It looks like you're pointing a firearm at me. Well, get on with it. You haven't done this sort of thing before, have you? It's okay. Just breathe. I'll talk you through it. Right now, it feels like your heart's swollen. It's beating so fast that you're afraid that it's going to burst right through your chest. Killing is the most difficult thing to do, which is why, when you actually do it, it's the most exhilarating thing there is. It makes you feel like a god, invincible, powerful. But you'll soon realise that that feeling doesn't last. Even if you do get away with it, you never really get away with it. No. You think you can walk away from this unscathed, but it's impossible. If you choose to go through with this isn't the last time you're going to see my face. I'm going to be with you when you wake up in the morning, and I'm going to be with you when you go to sleep at night. I'm going to be in your dreams. You in my life, I'll invade yours. I'm either speaking from experience or I'm a man of God. And I'm not a man of God.
We were about 2 kilometers outside of the town when they stopped us. They took us to a hotel. We thought they wanted to steal the car. We were so worried about what we were going to say to the owner. It's ridiculous. Your whole life is about to change and you're worried about a Fiat Turbo. They were soldiers. They were our soldiers. They talk just like me, just like you, Joseph. Our language. Some of them were only 18. I remember one day the UN troops came in and we thought for sure they would take us out of there, and they didn't. They talk just like you, Joseph. And one of them, he would always apologize, if you can imagine that. They rape you over and over again and then whisper an apology in your ear so that only you can hear. There were about 40 of us women, old and young. And you know what they did to the ones who dared scream? They would take a knife and they would cut slits all over your body, and then they would put salt in the wound, and then they would stitch it back up. And that's what they did to my friend Caroline. And I couldn't. They wouldn't let me help her. And she bled to death.
Oh, I always painted. Always. And my mother always encouraged it. I was too young to think there was anything wrong with it. She posed nude for me. And I always just assumed my father knew. Okay, well, I'm 9 years old and my father comes into one of our painting sessions and he starts screaming at her, at us, that what we're doing is evil. And I tried to keep the peace, to defend her in the lamest way. I said, she's not naked, it's art. And that's when he started hitting me. And he beat me unconscious. After that, we talked less and less. The day before I left for college, he came into my room and he holds out his hand, and in it is money, a big wad of sweaty money. And he looks me in the eyes and he says, I want you to take this and never come back. He knew. And I hugged him, and he turned and walked out.
I'm not one of those girls you see in men's magazines. Does that make me any less of a woman? It does not. And yet, for some reason, I think it does. And so I buy contact lenses and clothes that I can't really afford. You'd think I'd learn by now. You'd think that I would have learned from the start. David had to get me my date for the high school formal. I was on the tickets committee, the decorations committee. I practically planned the whole thing. Nobody asked me to go. So David rounded up all his friends and told them that one of them had to ask me or he'd beat all of them up. So, I don't know, they must have drawn straws or something. Suddenly I was invited, that's all that mattered. I was so happy. Well, it was something they just couldn't keep quiet. David's blackmail. I heard the rumors. I confronted David about it. He wouldn't admit to anything. So the night of prom, I got sick. 24-hour thing. David meant well.
Yeah. And if you don't come back, and come back at 100%, everyone's gonna say that I got in on a pass, a lucky break, and I won't have it that way. No, I am gonna beat you. But it won't mean a thing unless you're back at 100%, not 1 second slower, not 1 bit weaker. So, I am gonna work your ass off getting you back into shape again. And believe me, I'm not doing this for you. So there's really no need to puke about it. A month and a half. That's how long you have left to feel sorry for yourself. Because after that, your ass is mine.